Hudson Valley Knits. I am Amy, also known as Memers on Ravelry and Memers66 on Instagram and Twitter. Welcome to episode 41. Welcome to my backyard. It's a little nippy out now. Oh my goodness. I'm sitting under the grapevine and I just got dripped on because we trimmed the grapevine a little late in the season and it's dripping water everywhere, so I just got dripped on. It's just water, but I might have to move. Sorry. Anyway, look what I'm wearing. Wearing my ice shanty. Yeah, that's the big finished object this week. I first wanted to talk about the virtual knit night, which was so much fun. We had a great gang. Sharon from Moms with Yarn was the life of the party. She was so funny. So we had a great time, and I definitely want to do that again. Maybe in the beginning of May I'll schedule a day. It seemed like Saturday was a good time for everyone, although it is Outlander season. I don't know, we might have to wait till Outlander's over before I schedule another Saturday. But definitely doing it again. That was great. So thank you everyone, and I'm sorry if you couldn't make it. But really there's a Google Hangout thread there, so I'll post the next date as soon as I set it there. So what else is going on? So I have, let me get my notes. It's been really beautiful here the past few days. Spring just did not want to come. It seemed we were getting, it's been really cold up until the last couple of days, for spring anyway. And like I was wearing sweaters and tights to work because, you know, to keep my legs warm. And we just kind of cleaned up the yard, and it looks like it's actually here. Yesterday was 80 degrees, and today it's actually a little colder, but it's still beautiful. So I am thrilled. So let me show you what I got. Not a whole heck of a lot going on. I've done a lot of knitting, but mostly working on seaming this together again after I lengthened it, and we'll get to that with finished objects. I got a lot to talk about with this sweater kind of poncho thing. Did you see that? I just got hit in the eye with a drop of water from the silly grapevine. Anyway, the vanilla socks. I finished the first sock. I have not cast on the second sock yet, but let me show you the finished sock. I love the way it came out. I love the colors. Let me put this over here. This is in my Jan Smiley bag, her canoe pattern, and it just came out beautiful. It's a little long in the foot, but that's all right. And I did a fish lips kiss heel. I knit this on my highest 40-inch circulars using magic loop. That's my favorite method, although I do occasionally take out the DPNs just because I love using my signature DPNs. What would I say about this yarn? This is a workhorse sock yarn. It will last forever. It will not fuzz, and for that reason I like it. But knitting it up, it was very splitty. But look at the colors. I love the way colors work on this. I love the transition. So this is great. This was, I have it in my pocket. Crazy Zauberball. Molly can say it better than me. I can't pronounce it, but it's a German. I thought I had the, here it is. I grabbed the yarn tag and threw it in my back pocket. Crazy Zauberball. All right. And in the colorway, I have no clue, because this is old German, so I don't know if this means anything to you. That's the color. 2092. Love this. Good sock yarn. Great sock yarn. It's a bit pricey though. It reminds me a lot of the Patton's Croix, which you could get at Joann's for half the price. I'm just saying. It's still beautiful though. But so is the Patton's Croix. So that is the one. I also have the Lefty shawl. Let me get that out. Oh, Lefty. Also in a Jan Smiley bag. I think this is one of the first bags Jan made when she was first kind of testing the waters, I guess. Queen Anne's lace, which is both of her. This I scapped this up, and because when growing up, living near the river, we canoed all the time. We had 2 or 3 canoes, and we always had a car with a roof rack, and we would go canoeing all the time. So that's part of my childhood, and I loved it. And this is also part of my childhood because Queen Anne's lace grew all over the place here, and I always thought it was the most beautiful flower ever. So now I am sorry, I regret that I did not put a marker from where I last showed you, but I think you could see this has come quite a bit of a ways. I am using Miss Babs, let me show you the nice side, Miss Babs Yummy in pewter, and I think it's pewter, Joan of Arc, and slate. Here's the slate. This nice light gray, and Joan of Arc is very bright and autumny, and it's a little more orangey yellow than you're seeing on there, I think. But there are pops of red and purple and a little bit of blue. Gorgeous mix. So this was a kit that I got at the end of the year on sale when she had an end of the year sale. Let me show you. I got the hang of this pattern now. I no longer need to check the pattern for the leaf part. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 leaves. Now my row gauge is always tighter than average. So while I might be getting stitch gauge, I am sure that I'm going to have a shorter shawl because I don't get row gauge. I'm very tight that way. I tend to be a tight knitter, and I'm very tight with the rows. And I am just loving it. This is really nice. It's getting, at first I thought it wouldn't be quite as mindless, but it is now. I really can take it anywhere. The only thing that is a deterrent for it to be truly mindless, like a vanilla sock, is that you got the 2 colors. So, and that means carrying around more yarn. But regardless, I'm really enjoying this. And I have another kit, and I'm looking forward to using the other kit and making a second one, which, who knows, might be a gift. Depends on which sister I pull for Christmas. All right, so those are, oh, you know what? I did work on my Carson throw. The Carson throw has been kind of in hibernation for months and months. I don't even remember the last time I showed it to you. But I was watching Outlander last night, and I hadn't cast on the second sock. I didn't want to do the lefty because when I'm doing the short rows for the leaf, I have to watch and stuff. I just wanted something I could knit and not look at. And the only thing I had on the needles that I could do that with was the Carson throw. So I pulled it out, and it actually had a marker from the last time I showed it to you. So this is how much I did last night during Outlander. And this is just pure and simple. And let me tell you something. I was able to pick it up and just take up where I left off and know exactly what I needed to do because I take good notes. And I put them, which is upstairs in my room still, I put them on an oak tag, a piece of oak tag, and I attach it to the thing on this using a oak tag. And the reason I do this is so that if I don't come back to a project in a long time, I put exactly where I left off, what I'm going to be doing next. I make sure I went into Knit Companion and I have my notes there as well. saying exactly what row I had left off, and I explain things to myself because I'm dumb when I leave a project that long. So yeah, I am almost ready to introduce another color. So once that happens, this will no longer be super mindless knitting, because we'll enter the pattern part, which makes this so beautiful. Wait till you see it. I did the half circle shawl for my mother-in-law rather, and it's just beautiful pattern. Rosemary Hill is a genius. Again, Carson Throw by Rosemary Hill. This it originally was a shawl pattern, which was a half circular shawl, and then she wrote up instructions for knitting a blanket, and I'm using Cascade Eco for the blanket. Alright, so those are my whips, and let's talk about my one and only finished object. I finished and then refinished and then had to finish again this sweater I'm wearing. It's kind of like a poncho sweater. It's called Ice Shanty by Amy Miller. It's part of, oops, sorry, dropped some yarn. It's part of the Bundled Up series by Plucky Knitter, but I used Miss Babs Heartland yarn. It's a worsted merino yarn. Love this yarn. Love it. It's great, and I have a lot left over. I bought way too much, and I'm not sure if I'm going to offload it or maybe make something else with it, like a beautiful scarfy thing or hat or something, but it's gorgeous, gorgeous. So let me stand up. Just so you know, in case you don't follow me on Instagram or you haven't been watching the show, I originally made this. I was getting perfect stitch gauge. I did the gauge swatch. I got the stitch gauge, and I blocked it out according to the measurements in the schematic. However, when I tried it on the first time, and I'll show you so you can kind of see, it was way too short, way too short. And I don't know if it's because I'm busty. And well, that maybe in the front that might have been a factor, but in the back it was barely going to the waistline of my jeans. And this is supposed to, you know, drape below the waistline, like halfway down your butt. And I wasn't getting that, and that was the look I wanted. So I was really disappointed. And I spent a lot of money on this yarn, and I spent a lot of time on this sweater, and I really love this design. It's unique. It's kind of my style. It reminds me, I don't know, I just like the loosey bagginess of it. I like the comfy coziness of it. I just loved it. So let me show you what I did. I think I showed you last episode. I did not have the collar on, but I showed you what I did. But now I have the collar on, and you can kind of see the finished product. All right. Sorry. Okay. So, I love that I'm so happy I did the shawl collar in a different color. I think the bright color is a beautiful contrast. And you can see in the back, it goes to the perfect length. And the front, again, is the perfect length. It goes right to my belt line. Well, a little below my belt line. So what I did was, I took out the seam here and here, and then all across here, and that gave me the back. And then I literally did sweater surgery, and I cut the seam off, and I picked up and knit 4 more inches. I'm trying to see if you look at the back, and I can feel it, because here's where the seam is. And then here's where I picked up, and I knit this much more. And then in the front, originally my thought was to cut the end off the pocket and just knit the pocket longer, but then the pocket would have been, well, here's where it originally went down to. Right, I mean, like right up on my bust. So that wasn't going to work. So what I did is, these are the end of the 2 neck pieces, which she had us seam together, which I wish I had knit this in one piece. But what I did is I unseamed the pocket. I cut a couple of rows off the neck pieces, and then I picked up stitches, and I didn't knit them separately, of course. And I basically knit 4 more inches from here to here. But you can tell that even though this was the same color and the same dye lot, it's a lot darker. It's because I wasn't alternating rows, which I didn't do actually for the whole sweater, but in this one skein it was just very dark. But with this down, you can hardly tell. The other thing I should add is that I made the cowl here, the neckline. Let me get my seat back. I made the neckline a lot. I added 4 inches to the front piece and 4 inches to the back piece. I think that was, or 4 inches altogether, excuse me. So I had 2 and 2, which was like 10 and 11 extra stitches. And then all I did was I did more decreases, which made it a little longer, which was fine because we know my row gauge is off. But I made sure I did extra decreases so that I had the right amount to seam it to the neckline. And it worked out perfectly. But it's still too tight. So I think the pattern for the collar runs a little tight. And I would recommend, especially if you're busty like me, to add a good 4 or 5 inches of ease to this. You don't want to do too much because then you're going to have to decrease more stitches and it'll be too long. But if you're busty, you might want the extra length to cover your bust in the front like me. The other thing is, because it's a little tight, this has a tendency to pop up like that, and I have to keep adjusting it. Like in the back, it's plopped up. And every once in a while I have to reach in the back and pull it down. So that is a little bothersome, but not enough for me not to love this sweater. I'm glad I made the changes. Oh, one more thing is, because I added this 4 inches, I had this big gap between the bottom of the armhole and this side of the armhole. These would have been sewn together, but because I added, I had to put like a gusset in here. And what I should have done is I probably should have decreased as I came up to make the armhole a little tighter, but I'm really not worried about that because I could easily, if it's cold, just put my hands in there. I love it. The other thing is I have this little blip here because of the decreases, and I don't like that. But it's my ice shanty, and now it's spring and I won't be able to wear it until next year. Except for today. Today it's a bit nippy. All right, so just a little bit of spinning and then a little bit of chitter chatter. Oh, wait. Stash enhancement. I got my sock set rocked. Club colorway. It's lightweight. And it is called Grand's Kitchen. Here it is. It's like the 50s green, gray, and white. Not my colors. Not sure what I'm going to do with it. But it's beautiful yarn. So, yeah, I'm not into this color blue-green here. It's too psychedelic for me. So I have to say, the first 2 colors in this club were not really my kind of colors. What are you going to do? That's what chance you take when you join a sock club, a yarn club. All right, so let's look at spinning. I have been working on the Lendrum, and I finished off one bobbin of my merino from Highland Handmade. This is merino silk blend 40-40-20, so it's 80-20 merino and silk. And again, it's Highland Handmade winter wheat. Love it. This has just been really dreamy. It's these beautiful greens, creamy, and sky blue. Really, really, really beautiful. And I have the second bobbin going, and really all I have left is this little bit left of the braid to spin up, and then I'm going to two-ply it. So I've also been on the spindle a little bit. I finished my first ounce and started my second ounce of the on the round 100% New Zealand wool poonies. So this is the second one. This is also, they're both done on Bosworth spindles. So here's the first ounce. Second ounce is a little lighter weight spindle. It's a little under an ounce, and this is a little over an ounce, this spindle. But I'm able to get a good consistency. This wool is very woolen. More so than like other poonies I've spun up. But I really, really am enjoying spinning this. It's great spindle spinning. It's going to be a great yarn for like color work. And I'm really looking forward to taking my time and enjoying these spins. So, but you can see how kind of woolen it is, right? Let me see. Oh, there it goes. Come on. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to show you. You can see it's kind of like it's definitely a rough, and there's like a really rough spot. You see it? Yeah. But it drafts beautifully. And after doing the gourmet stash poonies with all the silk in it, which I have a hard time drafting for some reason, silks, this is just like a just pure pleasure. It just really just kind of drafts, and you just kind of let it go because it's so woolen, and it's going to be really, really beautiful when it's plied up with the other half. And that's about it, guys. So this past 2 weeks have been pretty uneventful with the kitchen. Well, not really uneventful. They did come once, but you know, it's almost done. We had 3 setbacks. The first one was kind of like a design glitch, and we had to send back a cabinet, and Lowe's kind of owned that. And then that cabinet came, and when we put it up, the cabinet people realized they forgot to take into account that it pushed everything down, and that another cabinet that we had paid for and bought and paid for was now too big and didn't fit on the wall without going over into the doorway. So we had to send that back and order a smaller one, which was custom made, and we had to pay the difference for that one. Lowe's would not pick that up. And then that came, and we had ordered a beautiful glass tile. So gorgeous. And very expensive, but it was just what we wanted, so we did it. We bought the glass tile, which we had to order in advance. And you know, we went to Lowe's. They had our floor plan, and I'm like, "You sure that's gonna cover everything? Order a little extra." And he goes, "Oh, you'll have a little extra. Don't worry." They ran out of tiles, and they were short like 3 tiles. So they're little glass subway tiles, but they come like with a mesh in the back, so that there's like 3 layers. So that's one. When I say tile, so that's what I mean. It's one of those mesh groups of subway tiles, which is like 6 subway tiles on it. But anyway, they were short 3. And I had to order another box, which will take, they say they're going to rush it, and we'll see what rush means, because, you know, they've said they would rush everything, but it still takes 2 to 3 weeks, even when you're rushing. but the kitchen is still undone. So I have all the cabinets are up now. The washer and dryer is hooked up. The refrigerator's hooked up. The stove has to wait until we're all done. And then, because I didn't realize, I bought my last stove 10 years ago when I first bought the house. But apparently now you have to get a permit to hook up a new stove. So I have to take care of that. I just haven't gotten around to it. So I have an oven because it's electric, but the stovetop I don't have yet. So I'll take care of that soon. Sink's hooked up. Most of the tiles are up, just not grouted. The floor, of course, is done, and it's been covered for almost a year. And like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 of the cabinets still don't have the doors up, and then there's a little bit of trim work they need to do. They're coming Monday, and they're gonna finish everything except the tiles, and then when the tile comes in, they'll come up and they'll finish the tile work. And then I will have my kitchen. The electrician came and did all the lights and the ceiling fan. That's done. And I'm just like super, super excited. It's like we're kind of able to use the kitchen now. I have beautiful quartz countertops they're in, and we'll probably, when they're done Monday, we'll set the shelves up the way we like them and start unpacking. Because after that, it'll just be the tiles. So I'm really, we're really there now. We're almost there. I bet the next time I podcast, we'll be done. And if we are, I'll give you a little tour. So I will see you guys in a couple of weeks, and I look forward to it, and I will